Every composter knows the two failures. First, the slimy, stinking swamp in the corner of the yard, and second, its opposite, the dry, dormant mountain of leaves that looks exactly the same in October as it did in May. The difference between these failed attempts and a pile of rich, earthy black gold isn't luck, it's a recipe, a simple, elegant balance between two key ingredients, the greens and the browns. Greens are your vibrant, nitrogen-rich materials. Think fresh grass clippings, coffee grounds, and vegetable scraps. They're the protein for the microscopic workforce that does all the heavy lifting. Browns are the carbon-rich ingredients. They're the dry, woody things, fallen autumn leaves, shredded cardboard, straw, even sawdust. They provide the energy, the fuel to power the whole operation. The microbes breaking down your waste need both, and they need them in a very specific proportion. Scientifically, the sweet spot is a carbon to nitrogen ratio of about 30-to-1 by weight, but unless you have a lab in your garage, that number is useless, so let's make it practical. For backyard composting, the golden rule is a volumetric ratio. Aim for 2 to 4 parts browns for every 1 part green. Picture it with buckets. For every 1 bucket of kitchen scraps you add, you need to add 2, 3, or even 4 buckets of dry leaves or shredded paper. This ratio is crucial. It gives the microbial community the perfect balanced diet. Too much nitrogen from the greens and the system gets overwhelmed, releasing that telltale ammonia smell. Too much carbon from the browns and the microbes run out of protein to build their populations. Decomposition grinds to a halt. But which ratio should you start with? That depends on the exact mix of greens and browns you use in your pile. For most beginners, a 2-to-1 ratio of browns to greens is a good start. This will work with vegetable scraps, fruit peels, and coffee grounds, which are wet and nitrogen-rich but well-behaved. Mix them with easy browns such as straw and dry leaves. They break down at a moderate pace, create good airflow, and work perfectly with a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio. The common problem green is fresh grass clippings. They are wet and compress into an oxygen-blocking mat. Add grass in thin layers, no more than ½ inch, and immediately mix it with coarse browns. You'll need 3 to 4 buckets of browns per bucket of fresh grass. On the other hand, the extreme browns, shredded cardboard, sawdust, and wood chips, pack massive carbon into small volumes. Using these will get you closer to 2-to-1 or even 1-to-1 ratio of browns to greens. So, how do you fix a pile that's gone wrong? You just rebalance the diet. If your pile is a soggy, stinking mess, it's choking on nitrogen. The cure is simple. Add more browns. A thick layer of shredded cardboard or dry leaves will absorb excess moisture and provide the needed carbon. Then turn the pile thoroughly. You're not just mixing, you're introducing oxygen, which shuts down the smelly anaerobic bacteria and helps the good guys thrive. If your pile is cold and static, it is starved. It needs nitrogen. Add a fresh infusion of greens and a little water too. The pile should feel like a damp sponge. Give it a good turn and you're basically serving the microbes a feast to get them working again. Remember too that not all ingredients are equal. When you get it right, the transformation is incredible. An active pile will heat up, sometimes reaching over 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius, hot enough to kill weed seeds and pathogens. As the weeks pass, it will cool down and shrink to about half its original size. The final sign of success is when you can no longer recognize what you put in. The apple cores, the leaves, the grass, it's all gone. What's left is dark, crumbly, and smells like a rich, healthy forest floor. That's mature compost. At this point, the carbon to nitrogen ratio has settled to around 15-to-1, a stable, nutrient-rich amendment perfect for your garden. It won't steal nitrogen from your plants, it will feed them. Nailing the ratio isn't just about avoiding a smelly mess, it's about orchestrating a natural process, turning everyday waste into a vital resource. It's the art of feeding the invisible world beneath our feet, so it, in turn, can feed us.
You've got the ratio down, but what happens when something goes wrong and your pile starts to smell? Let's learn how to fix that in the next video.